In this episode, I'm joined by Shaun Ericson, the product group member from Tikit, the amazing service desk management software. And I gotta tell you, this is a deep dive. So stay tuned, you will learn something. Hey everyone, how are you today? Andy here. So nice to see you and a warm welcome to my channel, especially, hey, if this is your first visit. On today's episode, I'm joined by a very special guest, Shaun Ericson, who's a member of the product group over there at Tikit, the amazing service desk software that completely integrates with all of Microsoft 365. And I've got to tell you, it is amazing, and you will definitely learn some cool things here. And Shaun is going to take us through a complete demo, really quite in depth actually, so definitely stay tuned for that. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would love to see you subscribe. Please go and help me out. Click on that subscribe button, ring that bell, and come and join our great learning community. And if you've got any questions about this or any of my other sessions, as always, just get those down below and I'll do my very best for you. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Shaun Ericson, who's a member of the product group over there at Tikit. And I know it's very early in the morning for him. So good morning, Shaun. How are you today? Great to have you on board.
Yeah, no, thank you, Andy. I appreciate you and I appreciate the time. We also did receive some amazing feedback from that, and we're excited to be in this session. So as you said, my name is Shaun. I work on the product team for Tikit. I wear a couple different hats in the business. One of them is to work with customers. I also do work in the product team group, work closely with the developers and help influence the product and things of that nature. And again, like I said, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Absolute pleasure. No, but fantastic. So just tell me a little bit of the background. Where did Tikit come from? And
Yeah,
I mean, I know that it integrates completely into like Microsoft 365 and Azure, but I think it's much more than that, isn't it?
the product Tikit is a SaaS-based service desk that's based out of Azure, but it's actually part of a broader company named Saracen. Over the last 3.5 years, what we've done is we've grown our presence across that service desk solution in Teams. It started in Teams. We then developed web experiences, full email experiences. We started with basic ticketing. It has matured into a full ITSM practices with incident, service request change management. We then started to integrate Power Automate for full automation of manually automating repetitive tasks. We then integrated a Power BI. And over the last 3.5 years, we've slowly grown our web into the Azure stack, allowing for customers to take advantage of what they use on a day in and day out basis, but also have what we think at least is a really awesome service desk solution.
Okay, sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. So I believe you got a little bit of info just before you do a demo that just gives the folks a nice kind of overview
Yeah.
of the different functionality. And then we're going to jump in and take a look at it, right? We're going to do a deep dive and you got some cool demos for us.
So for us, when we built Tikit inside of Teams, and what we've done is we've actually purposely decided to integrate Tikit into a few key Microsoft technologies, and that's continuing to grow. So we fully integrate into Azure. We fully integrate into Microsoft Teams. But we also leverage a couple of other technologies that you may use as a customer. We do have a full integration into Microsoft Intune. We have a few in-product experiences, but we also have full Power BI reporting and full Excel reporting where we live data feed things into Excel. We also have full automation integrations. So we have a full Power Automate integration and full Logic Apps integration. And what that allows for us to do is to introduce interesting ideas such as, I want to hire an employee, but after an approval, maybe I want to send a task over to Power Automate to go create that user account. So we have the ability to do that dynamically. And then last, but definitely not least, AI is very buzzy and chatty right now. And we've been doing AI and AI cognitive services integrations for 3+ years. But with the advent of OpenAI and Copilot, we are also intentionally doing some things within the product that we're going to be coming out with end of this quarter, beginning of next quarter. So what we'll do here is we will jump into the demo. On the screen, you're seeing those two personas. So on the left-hand side here, you see Adele. She's my end user. She's going to be asking for stuff from the business. And on the right-hand side here is Diego. He is my agent, and he's going to be receiving requests from Adele and from the business here. Now, I always like to call this out at the beginning of a demo. Teams as a product naturally aligns to departments. So you have departments such as IT and facilities and telecom and HR and legal. They're all using Teams to collaborate and work in their respective departments. We believe that each of these departments are just support organizations. And what we've done here is we've developed Tikit in a way where you can deploy Tikit to any one of these teams, these support organizations. And these support organizations can now also, next to all of the other channels and collaboration efforts, work on tickets that they're receiving from the business. So we typically think of a service desk as IT related. So as an example here, Diego can work on tickets assigned to IT and the service desk group. He can work on tickets assigned to desktop group, the server group, and he has full access to those things here. But if you decided to deploy a ticket to the facilities group, the facilities team could also work on tickets next to all the channels they're working on for their business. Same with HR, working on new hire processes and onboarding activities, things like that. And we intentionally have done this to be able to allow for that adoption across the departmental functions of the business. Last thing I'll mention here is we also respect the M365 security groups. So Andy, let's say that you were in HR and I was in IT. If you logged into Teams, you wouldn't see IT, you wouldn't see any of the tickets here. But if I were to go to the web, and we'll get to the agent portal here in a little bit, but you'll see we have this elevated concept called IT. And if you were to log in here, Andy, you wouldn't see any tickets assigned to IT because you're not a member of the M365 group for IT. So we're physically partitioning the data. And we really think that's an exciting way for organizations to further adopt Tikit across their different support organizations. Adele here is going to log in the morning, and she's going to go send a message over to Diego. This is clearly an issue that she has. Her computer is running slow. Happens quite a bit. So she'll ping Diego here. Now, Diego will receive that message like he normally would in Teams. And he could respond to Teams if he wanted to. But because he is an agent in Tikit, and because he has Tikit installed, he now has three things available to him against that message. He could, if that message had good content, send that up to our knowledge base, massage it and make it available to all the end user experiences. He could add that message to an existing ticket, or he could create a ticket in Tikit, which is what we're going to do here. Now, when we create a ticket in Tikit, the ticket creation experience initiates. We grab a couple of pieces of information from that message. So Adele was made the requester because she sent the message to Diego. And then we also give Diego the ability to append that message as a request title. And now this is Diego's opportunity to adjust the properties of the ticket. So he can change the status here. He can change the type from an incident to a service request. He can change the category. He can change the priority. I'll go ahead and submit this ticket here so we can see this being sent to IT. And when this ticket is created, what you're going to see is a couple of things. One, Diego's made aware that the ticket was created. So ticket 2408 was created. And then what you're also going to see here is on both sides of the screens, we're going to start to see notifications start to fly. So Tikit in Teams is 100% native. There's two apps that you're going to work in. The agent is going to work in the Tikit app. This is where they have the opportunity to work on tickets. And the end user is going to work in Tikit Virtual Agent. This is where the end user's home is going to be. And they're going to not only receive notifications as Tikit travels, but also be able to have conversations with Tikit Virtual Agent. So that ticket was created, Tikit 2408. And I sent that to the IT team, and I assigned that to the service desk group. So it's sitting right here waiting to be worked on. Now, a couple of things here. When you assign a ticket, you can assign it to a support group. So we give the opportunity for our customers to associate those groups to channels. So when I assign a ticket to the service desk group, it's dropped to the service desk channel. So as an example, this is a computer is running slow issue. So what we'll do here is we'll just reassign it to the desktop group. What you're going to see happen is that this ticket is going to be removed from the service desk channel and it's going to be moved into the desktop channel. Now, the idea here is that not only can you do the reassignment of the group here within Teams, but you can also further leverage the Teams and channel architecture to reduce the noise for the respective support groups. The next thing that you probably would do here is you would assign that ticket to yourself so you can work on it. So what I'll simply do is click Take here. And Take actually serves a couple of intentional purposes for us. The first is when I take a ticket, I'm assigning that to myself, Diego. So if Adele were to update the ticket here, which we'll see here in a little bit, we would receive a direct message in the ticket app. And the last thing here is we want to continue the conversation with Adele. She sent us a message. She's waiting for her issue to be resolved, and we want to, in kind, send her a message. But the difference here is going to be, we're actually going to send her a message through the lens of the ticket. We're actually going to reply to the ticket and send it to her directly. Computer's running slow. So Andy, what's the typical solution for a computer running slow?
Buy a Mac.
Well, I have a Mac as well, so I'll agree with that. But it's typically, please try to reboot your computer.
Yeah.
Now, when we send that message over, you're going to see a couple of things. One, that message will attach to the activity stream. And then on the left-hand side, you're seeing Adele being notified that a new comment was added to the ticket. And the idea here is that you can continue to have the conversation, but you're doing it back and forth through the lens of the ticket audited by the ticket. These are all out of the box, zero effort by our customers. You can tune these up and down, but this is what you get out of the box. So here's the ticket was created. Here's when it was reassigned. Here's when that comment was added. And let's just say Adele bounced her computer and fixed her issue. She wants to communicate back now to Diego that that worked. So it should have sent a message as well. And when I send that over, same thing will happen. We'll update the activity stream. We'll send a message back over to Diego. Now, what you're going to see is two different things here, though. First, that ticket just auto refreshed because the desktop group needs to be aware that Adele updated the message. The second thing is that because I'm assigned that ticket, I'm able to now receive a direct message notification letting me know a new comment was added. Again, if I was on my phone, I would see that as well. I click on it, it takes me to the Teams mobile experience as well. I can see the context there and then further work on that ticket there. Now, last thing here is Adele communicated to us that the ticket's been resolved. So what we'll do is just full resolution, just walk through actually resolving the ticket. So I'll go ahead and view the ticket here, ticket 2408, and this will kick off a simple satisfaction survey. And again, this is to highlight what I would consider our most popular feature, which is that digital tap on the shoulder. How do I create a ticket for messes? And just how does it feel agent to end user all the way to resolution?
Okay, Shaun. Absolutely awesome. Now, I believe that you can automate this process as well. And I showed that in my original video that you have a virtual agent. We'd love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, Andy. That's great. And we absolutely do. So, like I said, this is kind of our most popular feature, is digital tap on the shoulder and creating a ticket. But we also do have a full self-service experience that I want to highlight here as well. So Adele here, up to this point, has been receiving notifications and interacting with Diego across that ticket all the way to resolution. But Adele can also have a conversation with Tikit Virtual Agent. And that conversation can do a couple of really interesting things. It can create her own ticket. It can provide intelligent responses to natural questions. So as an example, I need the Wi-Fi password. Here's the Wi-Fi password. And then third, kicking off business processes such as I need Adobe Photoshop or I need to hire an employee. So first is, maybe Adele doesn't want to bother Diego directly, which would be great for, all the IT folk out there. And she just wants to create her own ticket. So what she'll do is she'll come over to Tikit Virtual Agent and she'll maybe say, my printer is broken. Now, when she asks a question or sends a statement over to Tikit Virtual Agent, what you're going to see happen is Tikit Virtual Agent is going to search our knowledge engine. And if there's a solution, we will provide it. For this particular example, intentionally, there isn't a solution. So we're telling Adele, hey, we don't have a solution for this problem, but would you still like to create a ticket? And what you'll see here is if you're in a multi-team organization, we'll let Adele send this to our appropriate team. If this belongs to facilities or HR, This is an IT issue, so I'll go ahead and submit that request. And this ticket will be created. So ticket number 2409 will be created. And then you'll see Diego and team will receive a notification letting them know that that ticket was created. And then they can go work on it like you saw in the previous part of the presentation there. And this is just self-service creating her own ticket. Now, where it gets interesting is when you actually start to see responses. So if Adele were to come in here and say, I need the latest version of the employee handbook, Tikit Virtual Agent is going to search our knowledge engine. And if we know the location of the employee handbook, we're going to say, here's the location of the employee handbook. We're also going to ask her a question. Was the answer helpful, yes or no? If it wasn't, maybe it's the wrong solution. We're going to let her continue to travel and create the ticket. But if it was, we're going to let her say yes. When she says yes, we're going to respond and say, awesome, glad that helped. We're going to imply to her that a ticket was not created. You're not going to see it light up on the right-hand side, but it actually was. It was tagged as deflected, and you can report against that inside of our web experiences or our Power BI. The idea here is that you can curate a knowledge experience that allows for your end users to ask natural questions, and Microsoft AI Cognitive Services is interpreting those natural questions and then providing a natural solution for the requests that are being asked of it. And that is the second type of response here, which is responding with a natural answer to a question. Now, the third type of thing that can happen here when Adele asks a question is kicking off a business process.
I was going to
No,
say,
please
so
go.
this would integrate with the likes of HR systems as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of things in there. A lot of our customers have HR receiving requests from the business and servicing those requests in their team. So you're about to see a live demo of that. Complementary to that, if the HR team is using an HRIS system, such as PeopleSoft, which is a little bit older, or a Workday, or things of that nature, we can use Power Automate to integrate with those solutions as well. And what you're going to see here is kind of full circle around that. So Adele here is going to initiate a new hire process, and we're going to present her with a little bit of a larger form that is going to ask her questions that are specific to the new hires in my business. Now, what's really unique about this is where we're actually going to start talking about Power Automate. And there's a couple of things I want to highlight here. First is, as I fill this out, so I'm going to pick on you today, Andy. Maybe the CEO of Tikit. We're going to interpret what's being filled out here and dynamically shift the business process and the task associated with the business process based upon what's being filled out. So in my environment, everyone gets Teams access. So everyone's going to have the new hire process is going to have a task to set up Teams. But if you're in operations, which typically CEOs are, we're going to understand that and dynamically add a task to this life cycle for the operational setup of accounts. The next thing here, as I continue to travel down this ticket, is if I select that you need a mobile phone, we're also going to interpret that. And in the hardware provisioning phase, we will dynamically add a mobile phone setup for your new hire. A couple other things here. When I click submit here, this ticket will be created. And what we're also doing here is in this life cycle, phase one is an approval, but we want the employee's manager to approve this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use Power Automate to understand who the employee's manager is by going into Entra, looking up the manager, and then dynamically adding that to the approval here, which you just saw came through. And then the last thing here you're going to see is that once Diego, who's Adele's manager, approves this request, we're actually going to dynamically send this up to Power Automate, and we're going to create your account automatically in Entra. And the idea here is that we can not only manage the people process governance around a new hire process, but we can also send things up to Power Automate to automate what we will call manual tasks that you can simply remove from your day-to-day: account creation, Teams access setup, determinations, disabling accounts, setting up OneDrive access, things like that.
Now, I'll tell you something, Sean. You've just shown the kind of creating that new hire. That's something I didn't know that Tikit did. I do know that in Microsoft Entra, you've got the whole identity governance, and Microsoft are getting excited about connecting to PeopleSoft and these various HR systems. But I didn't realize that you could do it from Tikit. So this is really cool. And again, I guess this is where the whole automation comes in, right?
So what we'll do here is we'll travel up to the web experience, and it'll just give a nice little visual to the actual experience around that new hire process, and kind of allow for us to segue into Power Automate and things like that. So that ticket was created, and Diego could work on it in teams like he has been. Diego could create a ticket here, and the agent portal, he could change the view to take a look at things that are assigned to him, or the new hire processes that are happening in the business. But if I focus on ticket 2412 here, what you'll see here is the full visual around what's happening for this new hire. So that process is managed by that life cycle. And then we have that form here that was filled out. So that form is going to stay with this new hire process. So the people working on the new hire process can reference it. And you'll see here that we have three phases for this new hire. We have the approval phase, which was dynamically shifted based upon the approval for Adele's manager coming out of Entra. Then we have an account provisioning phase. Now, there's two things happening here. The first is we have some manual tasks, and these manual tasks are delegated out to different individuals across the business. Could be IT, could be HR, could be facilities, to go set things up or do things. In my example here, I have a couple of accounts that we're going to create. So if I wanted to mark my particular task as completed for my HRS setup, I can update that, and that will complete that task. Now, this phase won't move forward until all four of these tasks are completed. And now we're waiting on Alex to fulfill his two tasks there. Now, the other thing you're seeing here is a Power Automate task. So what you're seeing here is our ability to send tasks up to Power Automate in these phases. Now, we've already actually successfully sent this up to Power Automate, and Power Automate has communicated to us that that account's set up. I'm going to show that to you here in a few moments here, but I wanted you to see that after that approval, we're sending up to Power Automate, we're creating an Entra account, and then we're telling the lifecycle that we're ready to, that has successfully completed. And the last phase here is the hardware provisioning phase. We always set up a computer for a new hire in our business, but you also need a cell phone, Andy. So we dynamically added that cell phone task to this process here. What I want to do is I want to show you the end result of what that does, which is create an Entra user account. And then I want to show you the Power Automate pieces to actually do all the things you're seeing here. So if I go over hey, Andy, I have a question for you. Is it Entra or Entra?
Entra, potato, potato.
Exactly.
Well, one thing is definitely not, it's Azure AD.
It's taking me a couple of weeks to get that out of my muscle memory for sure. That account was created. So if you come over to my Entra experience and go over to users, you'll see here that Andy's now had an account created for him based upon that approval. That was the end result. Let's go pull up Power Automate and see some fun things around how that actually was initiated.
I was going to ask you, with these automations, do customers have to build them, or are they all kind of built into it?
Great question. So all of the lifecycle pieces and the form pieces are all built in Tikit. This is all drag and drop, GUI, easy setup, easy to work through, create a lifecycle form. Cool. If you want to dynamically shift a lifecycle, employees manager, or click the cell phone button and add a task dynamically, or if you want to send things up to Power Automate to create an account as an example, you would use Power Automate. Now, I would consider Power Automate also a very visual designer that allows for you to build flows our product manager calls it being a citizen developer,
Mhm.
where you need to know a little bit more than just the basic GUI drag and drop experience, but you also have the ability to do some really powerful stuff if you just have a little bit more knowledge around how Power Automate works. And we have a full connector library in Power Automate. So if I go over to the connectors here, you'll see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of apps here that are sitting inside of Power Automate, where you can build flows to dynamically create all sorts of interesting experiences. We have a full connector library as well that has a slew of triggers and a slew of actions that allow for us to automate some of the things you've seen so far in the demo. I have a few flows that I want to show and highlight here that talk about what we've done today. Let me get rid of this little pop-up there. So the first one was dynamically evaluating that onboarding experience and then doing things with that evaluation. So what you're seeing here is that flow that interpreted that onboarding and shifted it. So this is a trigger. And what you're seeing is when a ticket is created, we're listening for when that onboarding process is initiated. You can listen for any properties of a ticket, but once you are satisfied with what you're listening for and you initiate that, what you're getting there is the entire JSON payload of the ticket. There's hundreds and hundreds of attributes that you're getting available to you in the flow here. The second thing we're getting is the form. So the form that we filled out, we're grabbing the information, the first name, the last name, the job title, things like that. And the moment we have both of those things, we have all the data we need to dynamically shift the lifecycle. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get Dell's manager. This is just an office action that's allowing for us to get the requester's manager. Then we're actually going to go update the title of the ticket. You probably noticed it, but I added your name to the title of the ticket because as I'm working on new hire processes, I want to be able to know who I'm working on. So you saw that there. Then we're adding an approval. So we're going in and we are inside of the approve new hire phase. We're adding the user's manager. And that's coming from this action from Office, this Office action here. And then the last thing, couple of things we're doing here is we're evaluating the account provisioning phase and the hardware provisioning phase. And the last part of that life cycle for that new hire was once this was approved, we actually went into Entra to create your account, Andy. So let's go take a look at that flow there. This is a little bit more visually simple. I would actually consider it much more powerful though. The other stuff is great, but what's happening here is we're actually listening and waiting for that Power Automate task inside of my account provisioning phase to go active. Once it goes active, I'm effectively using an Entra action here, using the form elements that we filled out to actually create the Entra account. And then once completed, I'm going back into that task inside of that lifecycle, and we're just marking it as successfully completed here.
Okay, Shaun, that's absolutely awesome. And it's really nice to see that amazing feature. What about reporting and things like that? Are there any reporting tools? And you mentioned Power BI. What can you show us there?
So there's effectively 4 ways to report with our product. There's 2 inside of the ticket agent portal that I'll quickly show, and then there's 2 that leverage Power BI and Excel. So in the product, whenever you're on a view, no matter what view you're on, you have a little export button here. You can export that to CSV, work on the data there. It's a little bit brute force, but sometimes it just gets the job done. The second way to report inside of the web experience here is there's a reports dashboard. You can slice it by time. It's a really nice KPI dashboard. And if this is good enough for your day-to-day needs, this is a great dashboard to work off of. Most customers want a little bit more from reporting, and this is where we integrate into our Power BI and Excel examples. So for Power BI, we have a full Power BI experience. Now, I've chosen to publish that Power BI experience inside of IT in the general channel. And what you're seeing here is an example of our out-of-the-box set of reports that a customer can leverage to report against the different things that are happening in the business. This is a really rich set of reports here. I think there's 20 plus different reports that you have here at your fingertips. And the idea here is that a customer can leverage their Power BI investment and can use and complement that by bringing in our Power BI experience, manipulating any of this data to more tune and align with anything that they're looking to accomplish, then publish it anywhere. So I've chosen to publish in Teams, but you can publish it in SharePoint. You can send it to managers or individuals on a schedule via email, things of that nature. So the fourth way to report is via our live data feed into Excel. It's not as pretty as Power BI, but it's a really efficient way to scale reporting because the reality is everyone knows how to use Excel. So what you're seeing here is a spreadsheet that I created, and it allows for me to create tabs of data that are relevant to the person that needs to see the data. So what you're seeing here is maybe an IT focused spreadsheet. And then Andy, I said you were in HR. Maybe you have an HR focused spreadsheet. And in mine, I'm seeing all tickets, I'm seeing all software requests and approvals. And maybe on your spreadsheet, Andy, you're seeing all the new hires, all the onboarding activities, things like that. You would launch it off your desktop. I would launch it off my desktop. I would then come in here and refresh all the data here. And what you're going to see here is all these tabs are going to start to refresh. And the idea here is that I can, once these tabs refresh, see all the relevant data on each one of these tabs. If I scroll all the way down here, I'll start to see some of the requests that we created here. There's that new hire process that we initiated here. And then, like I said, everyone knows how to use Excel, right? So if I just want to see all the tickets assigned to the HR team that are currently active, or maybe just the high ones, I can then put pie charts and bar charts on here all day long and leverage Excel like I normally would. Not as pretty as Power BI, but it really scales that reporting request across the business because, as I've said a few times now, everyone knows how to use Excel.
Sorry, I was going to say with the Power BI stuff, do those templates come with the product or do I need to create my own or how does that?
Oh, great. Yeah, great question. So we provide these templates out of the box. So we're constantly refreshing it because our data model changes because we're adding new features. But you would basically come to our website, download our Power BI template. You will load it in Power BI Desktop. If you're happy with these out of the box experiences, you can just publish this wherever. If you want to manipulate it, you get our entire view structure in Power BI as well. So you can just drag and drop and play with that all day long. It's a really nice experience to give you a really strong starting point and the ability to adjust as needed.
Yeah, very cool.
So that's really an end-to-end demo, starting from Teams, creating a ticket from a message, seeing how that travels, agent to end user, having Adele do a lot of self-service there, interacting with our AI cognitive services, kicking off business processes, jumping into a new hire, Power Automate, Power BI. I really hope this was useful for your audience, and we're excited for everyone to see this.
Okay, brilliant, Shaun. That is absolutely awesome as a deep dive. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm excited to know where this product is going looking ahead. I mean, you've got things like Copilot in Microsoft coming out. I mean, the world seems to have gone AI crazy, and I'm sure Tikit is going to be no exception.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great question. So there's lots of things happening for us in 2024. You are right, though. The world's gone a little bit crazy with AI, and we have some interesting things that are going to happen around that. And I'd like to take a peek at that with you right now.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And what I have here is a couple of examples. So for us, integrating into AI needs to be very intentional. And we want to make sure that the experiences naturally weave into what we're doing around our service management and service desk integration points. So we have a list of things that we're doing around both OpenAI and Copilot. What you're seeing on the screen here is what's at the very, very top of at least our customer requests. So you saw in the demo today, Adele asking questions at Tikit Virtual Agent and receiving responses. Those responses are curated by the customers. They create those knowledge base articles. Now, at the top of the list, though, is I want to be able to reference a document library, or I want to be able to ingest a document because I have information sitting in SharePoint or OneDrive that I want Tikit Virtual Agent just to go pull answers from and bring back inside that Tikit Virtual Agent experience. And what you're seeing here is the finishing touches on that. So this is our integration into Azure's OpenAI dev experience. And that OpenAI dev experience allows for you as a customer to ingest a document, point to a document repository, or ingest a website. And once you do, when you ask a question in Tikit Virtual Agent, you're going to receive a response that comes out of that actual respective repository. One of our developers is a big Xbox person. So what he's done here is he's ingested a massive Xbox support manual, and you're seeing him ask questions. So what is Xbox Game Pass? And you're seeing answers that are specifically referenced to that particular support manual. And then we're also dropping them into that Tikit Virtual Agent experience that you saw from Adele's side there. So we're really excited about this being our first intentional integration into OpenAI. We also are going to bring the Copilot experience into the Tikit Agent portal. So as you're answering questions and responding to things inside of a ticket, we're going to make available Copilot and the integrations around that so that agents can bring answers to those questions into the experience and help better that overall flow end to end. So we're really excited about that AI integration around OpenAI and Copilot. But some other things that we're doing in 2024 that we're super excited about. The first is just further leaning into all the Azure technologies. So we're going to have more refreshes of our Power Automate integration, further leaning into logic apps, things like that. It's true and dear to our heart, and we think it's really advantageous for our customers to have that at their fingertips. The last thing is not as techy, if you will, as some of the things we talked about, but is really important around just general service management and service desk, which is we're going to be bringing a hardware asset management solution to Tikit. And we're going to be blueprinting that out and bringing that forward in 2024.
Very nice. Very nice. So yeah. I suppose the last thing I need to say is if people want to try Tikit today, how can they get hold of it and find out more details?
Yeah, awesome question, Andy. It's actually super simple. So if any of your audience members or anyone wants to trial Tikit, you just travel over to our website. You go to our homepage. All over our homepage, there's this Add to Teams button. If you were to click on that, that would just take you to Microsoft's App Source page. And effectively, what you're doing is you're adding Tikit to your Teams experience. And once you add Tikit to your Teams experience, you're going to be dropped into the apps area here, and you will simply select that. And then I already have it installed, but you would just click Add and add Tikit to Teams there. The install takes 3 to 5 minutes. It's just pretty straightforward install. And then we also have a very rich repository of help articles available on our help site. So if you were to go to help.tikit.ai, you see nice guides that walk you through how to set up a ticket step by step. Last thing I'll leave with your audience is that if you ever have any questions, you can email team@tikit.ai with any questions. But also, we do offer a free setup experience. So if your audience wants to add Tikit to Teams and use our help center to install it, great. If you want our assistance, this is complimentary. You would work with our team to help install it, configure it, set it up. 90 minutes of time with us, you're going to be able to do most of the stuff that you've seen in today's demo. And the product is very easy to understand, and we welcome anyone to engage with us on helping set up the product. Again, it's complimentary as well.
Wasn't that great? Thanks so much to Shaun Ericson from Tikit. What an awesome demo and such a powerful product as well. As I mentioned, all the links, everything that we've discussed, I'll pop down below in the description. So make sure that you check those out. Hey, if you've not subscribed, bomb that subscribe button, ring that bell, and come and join us on your learning journey. Okay, that's it for this time. You stay safe. I'll see you soon. Hey, thanks so much for dropping by today. Here's a couple of videos that you may enjoy, and while you're here, go ahead, click on the subscribe button and you won't miss out.